Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com.
This week on Duel Review, Ergo Proxy and Dark City.
We take a look at Legacy of Kain, and we start off the week with Tank Girl. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Today is November the 7th. It's a Monday, and we're going to be doing Tank Girl, the comic.
That's right, which came out in 1988, as I look at my notes. And it was created by Jamie Hewlett and Alan Martin. Now, these names may sound familiar, especially Jamie Hewlett, which I had to look down. Actually, they probably didn't. Jamie Hewlett and one of the guys from Blur are the creators of the, what are they, the animated band Gorillaz.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you've seen the art.
Yeah, you've seen the art. You know, they do the Clint Eastwood song and the other songs.
Yeah, Gorillaz. He became, very, very prolific artist. There's a book out, actually, that's like the best of Tank Girl. It shows a lot of the art.
Yeah.
And you can actually see his progression to that style, you know, like the very, like, huge underbites and very severe.
Kind of angular almost in certain areas.
But yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So he's the guy who did Tank Girl. Him and Alan Martin. And it happened in 1988. They were both part of a band or something, and they just kind of started making comics as well. And basically it follows Rebecca Buck, who is a tank operator in post-apocalyptic Australia. Yeah. And I'm trying to say that without stumbling over the words because they're very long words and I stumble. And basically she was a bounty hunter, but then, you know, there was some incident with some colostomy bags, and now she's on the run, and she's wanted for
yeah, that's not the word that you want to trip up on. I have to say it again.
Colostomy.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre comic, obviously.
Yes.
And that's the joy of it.
Yes.
I didn't remember hearing about the band, but as far as I knew, they were like college guys, and they were trying to, the writer was looking for an artist and just happened to be either rooming with him or whatever. They got connected, and they just, they both loved like Love and Rockets.
Yeah.
Some of those other indie comics.
Yeah. And
just decided to go their own, and they really pride themselves on being the random kind of like whatever they were listening to, they might just like jot down in the margins or something. And so it is a real cool experiment.
Yep.
And it's funny.
It is. It's terribly funny. I mean,
how much of it is nostalgia? Do you think that it translates? I mean, because rereading it's like, oh yeah, I remember that band, but it was like one my sister, used to listen to. So it seems to get maybe. I don't know if it's going to get to the point where nobody really knows what they're talking about.
I think that's okay. I mean, as long as you read it and go, what is this? And then everyone's got Wikipedia now. Just check it out.
That's true.
You get all of this backstory into the time period that this comic was created, and that's a big love for that. You have to understand that. What am I trying to say here? It's just great. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that stuff is kind of topical anyway. I mean, it's just thrown in there, so there is kind of a main story.
Yeah, there is a main story, although that's just as chaotic and
kangaroos that are
what's his name, Booga.
They're obviously
Booga is a mutant kangaroo person who used to be a toy creator who
they're atomically accurate or correct as they can.
But that's Tank Girl's. That's Rebecca Buck's
weird
new boyfriend at the moment.
The thing that I like, if you guys have ever seen the Tank Girl movie, and we might talk about that. I don't know.
Lori Petty.
Just talk about
she
it
was
right
hot.
Now. But she was great in that. I mean, they chose her because she was a model and whatever. But she acted really great. I mean, the character's really quirky, so you have to be able to play that, and it worked out really well. I really like that movie. I don't necessarily like the makeup they did, like on Ice-T and his group. The kangaroo mutants.
The kangaroo guys, yeah.
But I enjoyed that movie. Now the movie is even less weird than the comic. The comic is even more random and
absolutely
drops huge sections of space out, from panel to panel. It's like lots of has happened. It's one of those comics that takes so many risks and throws so many things in there that you really, really want to love it. Some people do love it. And then other people like me, I love it, but I just wish that it was a little bit more... a little bit more solid through line that I could follow.
I see.
Just a little bit. Because they come up with these really fun plot points, and then as soon as the issue's over, it's like gone. I mean, it's like they don't spend a lot of time on it. And if you look at a panel,
I think
the text is more than half of the panel. Which,
that is true, but it's mostly because they have a lot of funny stuff to say.
They do. Yeah.
They just say a lot of funny stuff.
Very true.
But I think that the plot line is as disjointed as the whole feel of the art and comic and everything else that was really just slapped into this. It feels like you took a couple punk people and said, "Hey, make a comic book," and they just slapped a bunch of stuff together.
It's a total experiment, and I think it's pretty successful. I just wish that there were some through lines. That's all. I mean, it's very episodic. I've got the collection I started buying. The first, volume 1 or whatever, that has the first 20 or whatever, and like reading their little like prologue or dedication kind of stuff, they're talking about how it was really hard to remember like which ones were first and how they, how they sequenced and so they, it's like this is as far as we remember, this is how it went, And
you gotta love that though.
They're always talking about like, I'm not sure if it was me or the other guy that thought of this. So you can really get a sense that they were just in their room like throwing crap and seeing what stuck to the wall and just ran with it.
And that's
she's an endearing character.
She is.
She's obviously very crass at moments and whatever, but
she picks her nose, which every woman should do.
She's a very strong woman. I mean, she really doesn't care. She has a definite punk attitude, and I that appeals to me. I like the tough girls, the badass girls.
It works for me too.
And
I don't like that she smokes though. That's about it.
It's bad for her. I would say if you're into experiencing it, you might want to watch the movie just to kind of get acclimated. I can see people getting turned off by just jumping headlong into the
don't wait
comic.
Really?
I can, just because there's so much verbiage. And it's like, it's compelling art-wise, but if you're not ready for that, if you're not prepared for that, if you're not seeking it out, I can see people like, whoa.
So you're saying that you would think that the best course of action would be to watch the movie before you go into the comics?
If you know nothing about her, possibly.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, why not?
I mean, this could be completely biased because I did grow up in that time period where I understood what the the verbiage, as you put it, was saying. But
I'm just saying that there's so much of it.
Yeah, but you start with the first volume, and even if you don't like that first volume, I can guarantee you've gotten some laughs out of it. Yeah. And then it'll still leave you curious as to whether or not you want to watch the movie. In which case, please do, because Lori Petty is awesome in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would suggest is go with the first volume. Then if you like it or don't, watch the movie, and that may push you to read the rest of it. But I can almost guarantee that if you read the first volume, you're going to want to read all of them, and you're just going to keep going because it's just so much. It's just so much fun. Her crassness, like you put it, her I don't know.
It's just reckless abandon.
Yeah, just everything.
Her oddness, like there's no reason for her to do so. I don't know. Like somebody shows up and is threatening to her some way, and so she comes up with big missiles on her brassiere. It's just
great.
It's just a random, strange kind of thing. Okay, I'm not sure I would agree with you, but I think that if you're at all interested in Tank Girl, you should check it out.
Yes.
It's worth a check out. And
definitely check out the first volume. You can. I think you can get the. I think you could buy the books for like almost $15 each on Amazon.
I definitely think that most people know of her or heard of her, but I think that a lot of people haven't really experienced her.
Yeah, I think you all know what she's about, but you don't know what she did. It's like
well, it's like when I was looking for this comic, it took me a while to find. I mean, obviously you can buy the comics, especially now they've re-released a couple different volumes, actually editions of volumes.
Right.
But like finding it free online just to read like one issue or something, it's really hard to find.
Yeah,
it's hard to find information, kind of. And I'm still surprised that nobody has done a figure, because I would totally own it.
Oh, I would too, absolutely.
I haven't ever seen it. If you know where a figure is, let me know.
Yeah, tank girl figure. I'd love it if she was on the tank or whatever.
Yeah,
or just her with the rocket brassiere.
That too, but I totally picture her with her tank. I forget the name, and then her just like straddling the
muzzle
or something. Yeah, because I mean that's kind of a classic.
Yeah, that is
pose for her.
That's great.
So anyway,
but yeah, so there are several. Do I have to get into the several other characters? No, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's not really.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
Tank Girl. You're there for Tank Girl.
Yeah, you're there for Tank Girl. Everyone else is pretty much her cannon fodder. You know, she just picks on everyone. It's just great.
And I love how her hair changes randomly. Like she always got the little tuft, but sometimes she has other tufts.
Right. Sometimes it's a different color.
Well, yeah, she does do it blue later.
She dyes it all sorts of colors.
Yeah. Well, okay, but that's kind of a thing. Later, she has longer hair.
Oh yeah, with the blue, yeah.
Anyway, so
I like her with the short, kind of sporadic hair.
Great art. I just wish there was more of it. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
More art.
Just very heavy on the, lot of typesetting. It takes up half the panel.
But I'm a writer. That's what I read.
I am too. But I'm also very visual. I guess that's I would read a book if I wanted to read that much verbiage. That's all. I just wish there was more art. That's all.
Okay.
Because they're certainly independent, so they got to get through it.
Right.
It's cheap and dirty and all that stuff. But if they had funding, which would have been great, they could have lengthened it by.
I think that if they had funding, it wouldn't have been the book that it was.
That's true. Hands on. Too many hands. Cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
But
I think that how it came out is perfect.
Take it as it is.
And I think next week we're going to be talking about the Tick, and I think that if you like this, then you'll love the Tick. So the two of them, they're just both very random comics.
I think the Tick does a little bit more what I'm wishing that Tank Girl did. It does have more of a solid through line.
But even still, it's kind of disjointed and very chaotic at times. Quirky.
All right, guys, that's Tank Girl.
Yep. Check out the first volume.
She's awesome.
Can you? I can't find it online. I couldn't, which is unfortunate.
You mean to read?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been able to find it online.
I can't find it to read online.
You can find panels, like pages.
Right. Right, but you can't get the whole thing.
Start there just to get a flavor, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you can like just Google that and get a couple pages, that'd be cool. But I would suggest just if you like random, crazy, chaoticness, go online. Go to Amazon, buy the book for like $15. Give it a shot. If you love it, then actually, you know what? As far as maybe it would be cheaper just to check out the movie first. Yeah, do the cheap route. Check out the movie first.
Good.
Yeah, it is all good. I love it all.
Hey, there's that guy who's stealing her underwear. He traveled through time.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. You just wanted to shut me up. You're like, okay, Nick, you're done talking.
He figured it out.
Underwear through time? What?
You don't remember that?
No, what was that?
No, it's totally in the first volume.
Is it?
Yeah, he travels through time and he takes her underwear.
Who?
See ya.
I know Booga, I think his name is Booger. But I think he was caught stealing her knickers.
Coming up, it's Ergo Proxy, the anime.
Look how white my arms are, like where the tan lines are.
Yeah. And then there's me. He's pink. Pink? I'm a lovely shade of pink. Manly shade of pink. That doesn't really work, does it? Oh well. I'm Irish. Can't help it. Today is Monday the 7th of November, and we're going to be talking about knitting. Now, I like cross-stitch, and you like crochet.
What?
So why? Why don't you like cross-stitch? I like cross-stitch.
It's just a little more complicated.
Crocheting, I guess you can do like three-dimensional stuff.
Yeah.
Cross-stitch takes a little bit more, a plainer approach.
Right. Yeah, but you got to be plain, and I'm a plain guy.
And what needles do you prefer?
The long ones.
Like 6s, 7s?
Yeah. 6s and 7s.
I'm assuming there's some kind of numbering system. I don't really know. I'm sure there's like a gauge system or something.
I don't know what cross-stitching is. What the hell are you talking about?
So how surprised were you by that intro?
Very. That threw me off completely.
That was my... Okay. So, you didn't do research on crocheting?
No, I did not do research on crocheting.
Okay.